8:30. Good morning, Nigeria Info. My name is Ifeemi Andrew, and let's get into our conversation today. We are discussing cost of food security, and scarcity. A big question I'll be asking is whether you've considered having your own farm, because it was a question somebody asked me, saying I think it's getting to that point where everybody should just have a small garden or farm or something in their backyard, because we don't understand why some of the items that should be very affordable and relatively cheap in the market, especially here in River State, are expensive. Well, why are we not food sufficient? We thought we would have learned something from COVID period, and that time everybody felt okay. The government would begin to invest more in agriculture. Look at what we need to do. The food produce that we have in abundance and that are very favorable to our soil. Let's begin to grow them, encourage local farmers, and then see how we can also invest in mechanized farming and all of that. Unfortunately, it seems as though if we're to go by the situation of things, we didn't really learn much from what we suffered during the lockdown and COVID. Joining me is a lecturer from the Agric Department, University of Port Harcourt, Dr. Usman Dakkar. Doc, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Andrew.
All right, and so quickly, I know you already had told me that you have something you have to do, but thank you for still, making out time to join the conversation today. A few things we'd like you to discuss with us. Number one is, the cost of food now is a huge problem. In fact, one of the very popular food in this state, Gary, cassava, which nobody would ever think that would get to a point where cassava and fish and the rest of them would be that expensive in River State. Unfortunately, this is where we are. And when you look at it, you're saying in the past 16 years, what have we really done in that sector to ensure that at least this basic food is in excess to a point where we can be able to supply to Bayelsa or supply to people in Akwa Ibom, and people can come to River State and buy, but it doesn't seem to be the case. What really is the problem? Why is it difficult to have proper investment in agriculture?
Correct. I think I like the way you started your presentation. We ought to have, but actually we are not yet there. That means Nigeria as a country, River State as a state, we are not food sufficient. If I may start, we look at the concept of food security, which is nothing but making available and affordable food. The food must be available in a quantity and quality that can support one's life or being. But the situation has become the opposite. It is neither available nor affordable. Then that brings us to the question, what is the problem? I think I can be corrected, but if I should go by what I have experienced in the past maybe 20 years or so in Niger Delta here, we've had series of government plans and interventions in making sure we boost agriculture. For instance, we had a semblance of such when River State ventured into some guy's farm, a typical or a prototype of the farm at Benin Republic. I also know we've had a program in River State where RSSDA was driving because of planting about 50 hectares of cassava in some upland areas. All was in an attempt to boost food production or to drive home the point that we need to be food sufficient in the state. But within few years, all those plans have collapsed. So what is the issue? I think to me, the issue is that there is one lip service on both the part of government and those that have been entrusted to drive such noble or laudable program. And then number two, we have still not worked on the psyche of the general populace. People think agriculture is one of the dirtiest jobs. Fine, I agree. And number two, people think there is an alternative to agriculture, which is not so. There is no alternative to food production anywhere in the world. Any country or state that is not food secured, let me tell you, is just at the verge of going ablaze. You cannot rely on another country, you cannot rely on another state to provide your food, the daily intake. And even if that is the case, it won't be affordable or available in both the quality and quality that you need all the time. And so, if that is the case, then both the government, the populace will have to make concerted effort, and I need to choose my words, concerted effort in tackling these menace. My brother, we are sitting on a time bomb. It will get to a point that, the Bible history tells us that there was a siege in Syria and women were eating their children. I pray it doesn't get to that level, but the way it is, we are gradually drifting to that.
Is there something we can do, Doc? Because when you think about it, it is not as though we do not have the land. And it's not as though we do not have the resources to invest and begin to even make up for it. I mean, one can only imagine how sad it is that there's a war in Ukraine, and because of that, we can't get cereal, we can't get grains and bakers now have to and then we can grow these things in the northern part of this country in excess. We can grow them in the middle belt part of this country. When you look at the whole situation, you can't just wrap your head and understand what is really happening. So, is it that we're not going about it the right way?
Correct. I think that's the point I was trying to drive at. If you tell me we have problem with, let's say, security in the north and in the middle part of the country, that farmers can no longer go to their farms and do their basic farming with ease, without hindrances, without fear, fine, I understand that one, because of the hardest farmers clash in the south. But what about here? We don't have that much challenge. We have the land, we have the resources, we have the climate, we have the weather, we have everything. But what stops us from going into agriculture is because people have the mindset that I can just sit in my house, food will just drop from heaven, or somebody is his responsibility to bring food for me. No. The other day, I had to speak to some group of colleagues in the university. I said, urban agriculture, an alternative to supermarket. Let me explain what it means. That even in a city like Port Harcourt, we can grow our own food. You grow your own food, and you will have a food that is coming right from the farm to your pot, and from pot to the stomach. Unlike the one that we have in the supermarket, they look so miserable. They are either forced to ripe or forced to be preserved. And in all those things, the chemicals that they use or the technique of either preserving it or forcing to ripe has effect on the cells. But if we have, let's say, urban agriculture, a small agric in the city, everybody, whether you are living on a 10-story building, you are living in a bungalow, you can have a small farm. The small farm will not take anything from your daily work. We have what we call vertical agriculture. For instance, you can convert ordinary plastic materials, use the sack bags and cement bags, and grow. Now what it means is everybody in this river has only one stand of ugu in his own compound. What it means? You go a long way. But what is happening? Nobody wants to go into Agric. Even those that want to go into Agric, they go in the wrong direction. Now, people think Agric, you just wake up and you go and start working. No, it's not like that. Agric has gone beyond that one. There must be consultation with technical people. That's what we are saying. We can't rely on the old technique, the old way our aged parents were using the peasant method, and we think we can have different results now. No.
How many times in the past can you remember, since your time as a lecturer, you're a doctor now, I'm pretty sure there are other professors. Okay, you're a professor now. Sorry, the last time we spoke, you were a doctor. I apologize. You're a professor now. You've been in River State for quite some years, 20 years over.
20 good years.
Now, and there are other professors like yourself. Please, how many times have you had conversations with the government, perhaps maybe the Ministry of Agriculture, to consult what plans and how can we best work on encouraging local farmers and then also looking at mechanized farming? Has that conversation ever held?
Yes, we've had several. And Nigerians were very good at writing proposals. Let's put it in the pipeline, and I don't know where the beginning and the end of the pipeline is. We've had several, and I speak with you. There is no dean of the Faculty of Agriculture that will come to power without proposing things like that. Why should we have tons of graduates every year from University of Port Harcourt, from River State Science and Technology, River State University, from Bori, from Ajuru, all studied Agric and Agric-related courses, and yet nobody is going into the venture? What is the problem? That means there is fundamental issue that we have not yet addressed. Let me tell you something, sir, please. I'm sorry I'm on an air, but I have to be honest. What is the budget of Agric in River State? Tell me, sir, you know it. And let's compare it to health sector also. Tell me, sir, please.
Okay, Prof.
What is the budget of Agric?
All right, Prof. Before we get to that, please just stay on this line of thought. We'll continue with it. We just have a very short commercial for a few minutes. We'll continue. Okay. Stay with us.
Okay. Attention, parents.
All right, Upper State is what the time is, and the conversation continues here on the Morning Crossfire. We are discussing the cost of food, food security, and scarcity. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. My guest is Professor Dakkar, Professor Usman Dakkar from the Agric Department, University of Port Harcourt. Prof, thank you for staying on the line for us.
You're most welcome.
And let me also remind us that we're streaming live on Facebook, so you can go and join the conversation at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. And have you considered having your own farm? That's a question we're asking you on Facebook, and we need your response to it. So get on Facebook, drop your comments. We'll also be opening the phone lines shortly, so we'll take a few questions from you. Meanwhile, send us messages on WhatsApp 0809 030 6416. That is the WhatsApp number. All right, Prof, let's get back to it. So with regards to we were discussing about, you were trying to understand, explain why you think we're getting it wrong with our investment in agriculture.
In the state and even as a country. I asked a question. I said, do you know the budget, Nigeria's budget or River State budget that was earmarked for Agric? Let me tell you, I may not be correct, but it's in a single digit.
Yeah, thereabout.
What does that mean? Yes, what does that mean? It simply proves that even the nation is not serious with Agric. If we all eat food, and if we don't survive without food, why will you pay a lip service to Agric? You put a single digit. The entire budget is just a single digit. And some, what we call it, security, or what you put them in fact, let me use the word triple digit. See the problem? So right from the government to those that whatever, they don't even believe in agriculture. That's one. Number two, do you know you can bring anybody anywhere and say, be a commissioner of Agric, be a minister of Agric? What does that mean? Can you do that one in justice? Can you do that one in the Ministry of Health? Can you do that one in work? They just look at Agric, anybody can do it. What did you study? Oh, I study history. I will be the commissioner or minister of Agric. If you're not getting it right. So right from those at the top, we don't respect Agric. And because we don't respect Agric, so how do we get something out of Agric? Sir, pay a visit to the Ministry of Agric, pay a visit to some agencies that under Agric. You will weep. What I mean weep, you will weep. And when you compare it to agencies that maybe are into oil and gas, okay, maybe we'll now start eating and drinking oil and gas. That's the only way. Otherwise, we're not getting it right. In those days, we had what we call catch them young. Right from primary school, children will have small gardens. They are exposed to it. They are taught the nitty-gritty of farming. Today, if there are 1,000 applicants that wants to come to University of Port Harcourt, 999 wants to go to either medicine or engineering. Only 1 or 2 wants to go to Agric. So we're getting it wrong. The reason is that we've not even gone to the root and educate those young ones on the need to eat. You, sir, Andrew, will you ask your child to come and study Agric? No, now. You say, oh boy, go and study engineering. Go and study medicine. Go, okay. We'll keep studying medicine.
But Prof, I think it's beyond that, because, for instance, honestly, yes, I've always had the thoughts of agriculture. I never felt I needed to study because I didn't get the opportunity to study. It wasn't my thought. But then I liked it. No, honestly, I liked it because right from even my growing up, my parents would encourage us to have, gardens. So everybody would have their own small area where we plant beans, we plant yam, and we learned how to harvest yam and cassava and know how to process and, learn those basic things. And so we liked it. We grew up just liking it and always felt, okay, one day I might want to do this. But the point now is, I have friends, for instance, who graduated from your department who are now, and would want to practice. But it seems as though the environment for the business has never been created or encouraged. I mean, most of the times what we hear is the government is giving out STEM. and seedlings, and it's almost as that's what you hear, and that's the least, or that's the best that we can do in that sector, which is a sector that controls nations and nations around the world, from Denmark to Holland, Denmark and the rest of them make millions from this. In India, people make millions from this. I mean, largely in India, farming is something that's very treasured. So if we are to get it right, what do we need to put in place, right from the local level, at the local government level, to the state government level, before we even talk about the federal government? I'm talking about Rivers State now, because it's sad for me every day when I see that Gary is expensive in Rivers State, and I'm thinking
it gets more expensive.
And I'm thinking, why? How? Why should this even be? It's not even supposed to be a conversation, but why is it happening? Why should we not have? Why should fish be expensive? We've never had a fishing. I don't know if it's a deep sea fishing. Perhaps say the government introduced trolleys and have deep sea fishing, and you even have enough to sell to other people in neighboring states. Why can't we have that? What do we need to do to achieve that? How do we start?
Yeah, I think we've been talking over the issue of why and how, and we are still going around one cycle that is endless. Yes, graduate will graduate from university who studied agriculture, may not even have the opportunity to practice it. Why? The government does not even give him support. Even right from his family, say, look at this one, he studied agriculture, went and spent all 5 years studying agriculture without coming to go to university. Can't you do agriculture? Look at how that's the public perception about it. So right from the public, we've not even gotten it right. If I want to go to agriculture now, I say, okay, Ministry of Agric or River State, I want to venture into agriculture. Give me, they will say, well, give him some 3 farm seedlings, 1 bag of fertilizer, this and that. They will trivialize the issue. That's the issue. We have trivialized it so bad that we need to ask ourselves, actually, do we want to eat food or not? I'm happy. I think it's on the news. One state in the northern Nigeria has placed a ban that they will not export food from their own state. They're simply telling us that grow your own food. And we can do it. We can do it. I have stayed 20-something years in River State here. Let me tell you, from beans to yam to cassava to everything, there is no crop that we cannot grow. There is no crop that we cannot grow. 95% of all the arable crops that we thought were only confined to the north, we can cultivate them here. I can take you to a farm, a small farm I have. As I'm talking with you, I have a cow beans on the farm that is ready for harvest to eat. So if we should get it right, we will have to put in our resources into Agric. Have you seen a vast land in Eche, a vast land in, on your way to Bayelsa, vast land in Ogun area? Isn't it? If prices going up, food not available, will continue hitting us hard.
All right, let's open the phone lines, because I'm just looking at the 2020 bond. Well, interesting things that were said for agriculture development, and the administration at the time, I think about a provision of about 40 million was 40 million agriculture sector for the 2020 fiscal year. And in specific terms, he said this is how the funds were to be applied: invest and support commercial production of cash and other crops to a relative advantage: cassava, palm oil, yam, plantain, banana, rice, vegetables for both domestic and export markets. Now, I just want to stick on the first part of it. Can 40 million naira investment be able to produce these crops, both cash crops that were mentioned, for exports and domestic consumption?
Mr. Andrew, why are you putting this question to me? I think
I have to ask. You are the expert in this, so is it doable?
40 million. Did you say 40 million?
Yes, 40 million and some fraction. Yeah, 40 million.
Can it lift one truck of oil? It you see why I'm saying that we are not even serious. What is 40 million, for goodness sake, that you want to invest as a whole state investing a paltry sum of 40 million into Agric to cultivate cassava, oil palm, rice, this, and
to even think that this was in 2020. This was in 2020, and then we had COVID. And then even after COVID, we thought we would see improvements in our focus with regards to agriculture, but we still didn't see much. So, well, perhaps the lawmakers and government officials would have to give us details as to how the money was spent and what programs were embarked upon and what the results were. In the meantime, let's go to the phone lines and hear from the listener. I'm sure they have plenty to say. The number to call is 0817-923-0002. Let's start with Robin in Echie. Robin, good morning.
Good morning to you. It's Andrew.
You're welcome.
To so be clear.
Thank you.
Greetings to Prof.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, thanks very much, Prof. When we listen to your likes, it tends to give us the hope that we've never had, or we're not even expecting it from the political figures.
Thank you.
But you are being very apt as a professional, as a professor in that field. But for me, I am thinking, and I've been saying, the problem is the government, not the people. If you can recall, either your station is sister station a week ago, wherein a man was crying how his farm, acres of land somewhere around Odogwa in a day, has been overrun by marauders. The herdsmen with their cows, they put them in his farms. The man was crying. I have practically been around Abara, that later has been opened. And while we are in the bush, sometimes we run, we hide. Why? Because of the type of cows and the number of cows that are in the bush. The women, the men are suffering because they cannot fence their farms. Even those of them that are fenced, sometimes they break the gates to put in their cows. The government is responsible. The people are struggling. Go around the market within the day. Go to any and see what the locals are trying to do. But what are the problems? The government do not have very great policy. Look at how Songhai Farm has been met. But I want to use this medium and this opportunity to please. The governor of Rivers State, Excellency Sinare Fubara, promised us that by the end of January, the Songhai Farm will be visited. Let him do so. And how can a man build a factory when there's no product to run the factory? The Gary production plant at Irebi. What is happening? Good morning. I remain Robin Maja, the farmer.
All right. Braid in Oginigba. Good morning.
Good morning, Eshim. Prof, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I'm from the Riverine extraction. And when you look at our aquatic life today, it's zero. And I think when, if you look at the aquatic life, 2010 to 2014, I think it was relatively improving. We have the deep fish farming, and we also have the Buguma fish farm, almost getting to have this cooling system to preserve fishes. But right now, as I speak with you, I blame the government because the successive government plays with agriculture so much that they also play with the human life in River State. Let me not talk about Nigeria. I should be able to talk about my River State because that is where I stay. And when you look at the budget concerning agriculture, nothing is being done concerning that budget. And where did they channel that money to? That budget, 2021, I think almost about 40 billion. Where did they sink that money? Where is Songhai farm that is almost improving, waxing very strong, banana plantation? Where is our metaplastica? A lot that the government allowing to go down the drain. And if we continue like this, where there is no food sufficient, the people bound to be perished. Sorry, I remain chief comrade. I am Braid.
Thank you, Braid. But Braid, to correct you, it's 40 million, not 40 billion. Muriel in Agric, 40 million and a few fraction. I think 40 million 400,000. Hello, Muriel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, hear me?
Yes, Muriel, go on.
Okay, thank you. Look, you see me, every state in this country needs to call for a state of emergency on food and agriculture. Honestly. The cost of food now, a parent that has children, it's people that are feeding themselves alone. It is not easy not to talk of people who have up to 3 to 4 children. Look, you see me, I believe every state can produce anything, every kind of crop in this nation. With the kind of innovations in agriculture that we have now, you see me, even River State can produce things, we can produce onions, honestly, with the kind of innovations we have now. But you see me, I don't know the problem. How many years ago we buy Gary less than 500 and big concept of Gary? Now it's getting to 2,000 naira. What is the problem, you see me? You see that we no longer have cassava stems? Now, if the government can say, okay, if we can't have cassava stems anymore in our state, okay, let us enforce them. If we enforce them and distribute to all the local governments in this state, farmers to go there and collect for free, you see me, and free fertilizers. Trust me, you see me, the cost of Gary in due time will reduce. If there can be an executive order, every household plant and a banana in your house. Everybody plant. Because I remember when I was a child, there was an order that everybody should plant grasses and trees, you know. And now if they can see everybody plant banana in your house, no matter even if it's just 1 second, you see that in 1 year's time, everybody will be harvesting banana and plantain in their compound. The price of plantain that is so expensive now will drastically fall down, you see me. So and I even blame schools and universities. The professor is there. You see that everybody has departed. They don't even do practical, you see me. If they can insist that all their assessments will be based on practical. At the end of the day, when they get their produce, someone you also people, they ship among themselves or they sell it. You will see that universities will be self-sufficient. They will be selling food out due to agriculture as in students planting. Even secondary schools, you see me. Government secondary schools have land. You see that they don't do practical anymore, you see me. Students don't know how to farm. Right? I am getting this focus. I can plant cassava, I can plant here, I can plant everything in my compound. They say these children these days, they don't even know how to plant cassava because there are no practicals again in the scheme of work. So they should bring back practicals.
All right, Muriel.
Thank you. Thank you, Femi.
Susie, quickly, let's hear from you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew.
Welcome, Susie. Thank you.
Now, let me actually cite A.M. Ademo, who said that a nation that does not actually pursue sustainability will run into some of these crises we are facing today. And he said that sustainability to an extent is actually what the process of development within the jurisdiction of individuals can do for the government. Now, the Prof has also mentioned, and you have asked a question, some of your friends who actually study agriculture and then turn out to be doing other things outside from what they study and all of that. And it's like that in all the phases of the studies of the courses you study in the university. But particularly on agriculture, individuals must concentrate on this. When Buhari came up the other time and mentioned agriculture as a way to go in this nation, he was taunted. People did not even know. Little did we know that he was making a philosophical statement that will remain as an indelible mark on the minds of the people today. I studied another course, but I have penchant and fantasy for agriculture because I've seen that millions of people in this nation, mostly in this state, depend on the agricultural products, not even the oil that we have in Nigerian land. Prof was saying something and citing issue concerning some of the oil companies starting an agricultural farm, which is a Ponzi scheme. It did not even work to an extent. So individuals should venture into agriculture. Most of us are in Port Harcourt today, but there are lands in our communities. When anybody tells us to go and do farm, we tell the person that how can we go and we want to work in an oil company, we want to work in the bank. So it's unfortunate we cannot concentrate on criticizing the government alone for not doing what they are supposed to do, even though they have a responsibility. What about us as an individual? What are we using as a commendation to what the government is
Susie,
doing?
thank you very much. Point made.
Even though we
Let's get over to George quickly so we can wrap up.
All of that to cushion what we are doing.
Thank
I'm
you,
also
Susie.
into agriculture.
Let's go over to George. Susie, thank you. George, good morning. Quickly make your point.
Yes, good morning. Yes, Andy. Just like the governor's good gestures to the civil servants, it's overwhelmingly commendable. It's only a few enemies of the progress that only and the people that the majority always have.
George, unfortunately, we can really not get what you're saying. I think it's interference from a service provider, George. Please, we can't really hear you. It's not clear. Let's get back to Prof quickly. Prof, we have a few minutes left. Universities, I know that in Ife, the school is largely they produce dairy products, eggs and milk. They even have, I know that they have a cattle farm and they do all. Can't we have something similar at the University of Port Harcourt, at this University, where we have these farms where, we can grow some of these things, and even if it might not be enough to feed, but at least we know that these communities and people around the institution benefit from it. I know that University of Port Harcourt have farms too, because I've bought eggs from there. So, but is that something that has been looked into and invested in by the school management?
Yes, university is established to do three basic things: teaching, to do research, and community service. Yes, right now, University of Port Harcourt is called an entrepreneurial university. At the moment, Faculty of Agriculture does not have a large farm, a commercial farm, but we have demonstration farm, and that is our mandate. The idea is to teach both students and those that are interested to come and have hands-on experience. For instance, snailry, how to run cane rat, how to run poultry, fish, some arable crops, and some stuff like that. We have it on ground, although it is not, what do I call it, it's not that enough. We can do better than, but we still have a small proportion here and there that we can have hands-on experience for both teaching and those that are interested from outside the university. That's the idea.
Well,
but of course, if federal government empowers us, oh yes, we can go into a large scale, full blown. For instance, in my sister department, we are going to have a program this month, and we are bringing in industrialist equipment, and we are inviting public to come and see things like that. That is
right,
what
Prof.
we can do. We can't just say, let's go this large scale.
Prof, would have to say thank
but
you.
Stay with us.
This is where we wrap things up.
We'll be back.
Trader, are you ready for the flight? Yeah. Maximize your gains day or night. The platform, HFM is the name. Trading with us is a brand new game. Come on, feel alone, execution slow. Switch to HFM, watch your success grow. Higher leverage, tighter spreads and swap free. Got your back in this financial fight. Trade forex, commodities, indices, shares and more. Just come and see HFM online trading. Withdrawals, deposit done in a dash. Our execution too fast. HFM stands apart from the rest.
Pico, HFM finito, HFM is ito, HFM national platform, online trading, forex trading, any trading, HFM no delay.
Join
HFM today. Visit www.hfm.com or download the HFM app on Google Play or App Store. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Are you into business and sales or offer some sort of service? Looking to connect with the public and potential clients? Then visit the sales and marketing team at our head office, AIM Complex, Kilometer 16, East West Road, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Call us on 0817 001 8162. Come, let's connect you to the world. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
I see trees of green.
Have you been thinking lately about solving your electric power challenges? Then you should be thinking Solar World. At Solar World Electric